By Musalia Mudavadi. We've seen NASA presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga also vouch for the ODM candidate. So what really does this sibling rivalry mean? To help us look at that is political commentator Vitalis Musebe, who's now joining me in studio. Thank you for coming in. That statement from Musalia Mudavadi is something we've also had from Raila Odinga in the past. What does this mean for NASA, especially now in Western where ANC is strong?
Thank you very much, Adisa, for this opportunity. First, yes, there is a challenge there, and the challenge is because this NASA rivalry, as you put it, could turn out to be the Waterloo for the opposition in Western Kenya. Because first and foremost, these siblings are running under one banner called NASA. And yet the reality on the ground is that each of the constituency parties that constitute NASA, particularly in Bungoma, Western Province, Bungoma, Kakamega, and Busia, and parts of Trans Nzoia, are all drumming up for support for their respective parties under the umbrella party. Now what this means is that regardless of whether they admit it or not, the reality is that these parties are going to make it a bit difficult for the partner parties to win seats. Let me give you an example. In Bungoma, for example, we have 4 candidates running for governor. And all the 4 candidates, 3 of them are running as candidates on the constituency parties that constitute NASA. We have a candidate from Fort Kenya, a candidate from ODM, a candidate from ANC. And all these guys are trying to drum up support, to seek support now. The first thing that will happen is basically the possibility of dividing votes. And then we have a candidate who is independent, called Jim Doruchi, who is running as an independent candidate. That makes the field 4 against one governor called Ken Lusaka, who is the incumbent governor. So basically, when you go out there, you will find that when Fort Kenya is campaigning, it is saying, let's do 6 piece. A 6 piece. All right? And when you are talking about 6 piece, you're talking about Fort Kenya. When you go and see, they are saying, let's do 6 piece. When you go to ODM, they're saying, let's do 6 piece. What does that mean for the coalition? It means that this coalition is playing a field against itself. Does it make it easier for parties like Jubilee in Western? Definitely what that means is simply because they could score in their own goal. You know, that's what it means. It can easily, in this rivalry, in this attempt for people, for candidates, including their leaders, to drum up support for their respective candidates, they can easily play into the hands of one strong Jubilee candidate or one strong independent candidate. That's what it means. Is it in any way going to affect the voting patterns for the NASA presidential flag bearer, or is it just confined to the county politics? What it means, what is happening on the ground is this. You see, when Mudavadi speaks, he's speaking in 2 capacities. The first capacity is speaking as the leader of ANC. That is given. But he's also speaking as the campaign manager, as it were, the campaign manager for NASA. He was given the responsibility to be the national campaign coordinating manager. So he's saying, let's vote for NASA up there. But the people out there are saying, let's vote for NASA, but down here, let's vote for respective parties. That it means is that there is a problem, there's an issue here. What I can see clearly is that it easily can cost them votes. And that's what's happened. For example, the Mudavadi influence in Bungoma County, where I come from, has completely been reduced by the Wetangula forces, because Wetangula is running also as a senator. And that means that he is also running with his troops. He's running in a camp with his governor, with the candidate with his women representative candidate, with his MP's candidate.
Quickly, we need to wind up, but is it too late to try and put the house in order?
It's too late. It's too late. I can tell you for sure that if they go that way, the reality of losing most seats in Bungoma and Western Province are real.
Vitalis, thank you very much for coming in here at News Desk.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you here. Vitalis Musebe is a political commentator, saying it's too late for NASA to organize its house as far as the voting patterns in places like Ford Kenya, where all the constituent parties have fronted candidates. Let's now head over to the county of